Hey guys, today's lesson is on percent applications. Still sticking with all the percent rules that we've been talking about. Percent of change is kind of like percent of increase and percent of decrease, except now we're applying it to certain situations here. We're going to be talking about today 4 different types of problems. Markups, discounts, sales tax, and tips. And probably the first thing I can tell you is just like markups here. Well, markups is when the price is going to go up. So if a quota's, if you see it for $100 and it's going to be marked up 25%, we're going to have to figure out what the new amount is. Well, what happens here is what we're going to have to do is figure out, well, how much is the price going to go up? And once you know how much it's going to go up, then you have to know that markup means that we're going to be adding something on. However much it's going to go up by, we have to add that on. Discount is the exact opposite. We're going to figure out how much that price is going to go down by. And once we know the price, how much it's going to go down by, then we're going to subtract. Sales tax, okay, there's a tax for, sales in the state of Wisconsin or actually around the country. So tax always, you get your final price, and then once you figure out the tax, which in the state of Wisconsin is 5%, then you're going to add that tax on because tax, you're always paying more. Tip, same thing. If you're at a restaurant and you get your bill and you want to leave your waitress a tip, well, that's going to be a price that's added on. So you just have to remember on all of these problems, we're going to be able to find out what the markup is, then you got to add it on. We're going to find out what the discount is, then we subtract it from the original. We're going to find out what the sales tax is, then we add it on to the original price. We figure out how much we're going to leave for a tip, and then you add that on to the total. So it's kind of like a 2-step process today where we're finding these things. All right, well, one thing that we were doing yesterday was we were doing our equation or our setup for finding percent of change was we had to find out the amount of change, and then what we did with that was we put the amount of change over the original price. All right, and once we were able to do that, once we found out the amount of change over the original price, then we were able to get our percent by doing that. Okay, well, we're going to kind of modify this today because a couple times what we did was we were able to change this into an equation by saying, well, if I wanted to get rid of the original price, I could multiply here by the, and I'm just going to point here, if I put the original price there, all right, if I were to multiply that, then the original price on bottom and here would cancel out. But since I multiplied that on bottom, I'd be getting rid of that denominator, and over here I'd end up multiplying by the original price. Okay, and what you end up getting, and I want to rewrite this because this is going to be one of our important equations that we're going to use today, is look what we have left here. If this original price that we multiplied by canceled out this original price, what we're left with here is the amount of change. All right, so that's how much did it go up or how much did it go down is going to equal our percent times the original price. Okay, so that's one equation that we're going to use very heavily today. Change equals your percent times the original price. Okay, and then there's one other thing. So let's just say that we don't know what the change was. We didn't know how much it went up or what it went down, or maybe we weren't looking for that. If we're looking for what the new amount is, then we have another one today. So kind of using the same format, but instead of saying change, all right, we're going to say, what if we were looking for the new amount? So after it's going to be marked up, what is the new amount of the item? Okay, so we're going to put new amount there. And if we're going to do that, what ends up happening is, and this is where it might be a little goofy, is we take our percent, and if it says that it's going to be marked up by 25%, well, I know the original price was 100%. If it's going to be marked up 25%, then what we're going to do is, actually I want to go back and rewrite that. What we're going to do is 100% is always here, but then we're either going to add on whatever percent it's going to go up by. If it's a 25% increase, I would add 100 plus 25% and get 125%. Okay, or if it's a discount, I would subtract. So I'm going to put plus or minus the percent there. So it's going to be 100% and either plus the percent that's going to go up or 100% minus the percent that is going to go down. So if it was a 20% discount, in the parentheses here would be 100 minus 20, which then gives me 80%. That's how much the new amount's going to be. So we're able to figure out the new amount right from here. And then that is still going to be times the original amount. Okay? Times the original amount. So the two really that we have to remember today is this, that change equals your percent times the original price, and then the other one is that your new amount is going to equal that 100% plus or minus the new percent times the original. Okay. Two other types of words that you're going to hear today also is retail price. Okay. If you are buying something retail price, that means that's the amount that you're going to buy it in a store. So what happens is when products are made, is that they're made in the warehouse or wherever. You could buy straight from that warehouse, and that's what we call buying wholesale. So the wholesale price is what the price originally was when it was made. So if you buy it wholesale, you're getting it at a really cheap price. All right, but then the warehouse or whatever usually sends it to a store to be sold. That store then marks up the price quite a bit, and then they sell it at retail. So retail price is always going to be the new amount. Okay, so after the store buys it, how much do they mark it up? So you got wholesale price was the original amount, retail price is the new amount. Okay, let's try to put these to work here. So example 1 says a street vendor buys bracelets from a manufacturer for $7. It says the vendor marks up the price by 150%. What is the retail price? Okay, so the manufacturer makes these bracelets for $7, and then the street vendor then says, well, I'm not going to sell them for $7. We're going to mark it up, and I'm going to make a profit off of it. So he's going to not sell it for $7. He's going to sell it for more. We want to know, well, what is that new price? Okay, so we're going to call this here method number 1. Method number 1, where you're going to use that equation I wrote down, which is change equals our percent times the original amount. Okay, so this is similar to what we did with percent of change. All right, now when I'm looking at this problem here, what I see is that, well, the percent that it's going to go up by is 150%. All right, and then times the original. Well, the original price of the bracelet is $7, which means what we're looking for is the amount that it's going to change by. Now remember, when you're doing these problems, 150% has to be changed to a decimal, so 1.5, and that's going to be times 7, which tells me the amount that it's going to go up by, 1.5 times 7, is going to be $10.50. Now remember, that right there is the amount that it's going to change by. Okay? Well, they're not asking for how much it changed by. They want to know what's the new price it's going to be sold at. What's the retail price? What's the new amount? Okay, well, the new price isn't $10.50. It's going up by $10.50. It was only $7 to begin with. It's more than doubling. So what you have to do is take that $7.50 and we add it to the $7 that it originally was to get a final price of $17.50. Okay, so this was the original amount. Okay, and you get a final answer of $17.50 is the new amount or the retail price. All right, let's try the second way. Okay, the second way is I want to show you how that second equation worked, which was if we want to find the new amount right away, which should be $17.50, it's going to be the new amount equals, and then we did this 100% plus and minus the new percent, and then that was going to be times the original. Okay, original. So if we're going to do that, here's what ends up happening. Okay, I still don't know the new amount. All right, so the new amount here is going to be my x equals. Now, since it says that it's going up by 150%, here's what ends up happening. It's always going to be 100% because that's what it is originally. It's all of it. But then it's going to go up by 150%. So I have to do the 100 plus the amount it's going up by, which is 150, and then that times the original amount, which was 7. Okay? So, well, that tells me 100% plus 150% tells me the new price is going to be 250% times the original amount, which was $7. Okay? The 250% still has to become 2.5, and then we can multiply by 7. 2.5 times 7 gives us a price of $17.50. All right, so two ways to do it today. And I guess the way I point out to you is the two ways is at some point you're always going to add something on. So either you figure out the price that it's going to go up by, the $10.50, and then add that on to the $7. Okay, or you're going to add the percent on right away by adding the percent to 100, and that takes care of it also. So those are the two ways that we're going to do it today. All right, I'm going to clear the ink for a second. I'm just going to really quickly show you one other thing here. So if I clear the ink, okay, let's say that you wanted to do a proportion here. You could still do this, okay, where it says I don't know what the change is going to be, the original price is $7, okay? The 150% is going to go over 100, and when we cross multiply and divide, you're going to find out that the change here is going to be $10.50. Then we would still take that $10.50 and add on the $7 to get the $17.50. So we can still use a proportion, and we could actually still do this, all right? If I wanted to add the percent on right away, I'd still start x over 7. This is going to be over 100, but if I want to find my new percent right away, okay, well, it's 100% plus the 150%, which is going to give me that 250%. So I could change the percent here. So there's kind of two more methods here, method 3, method 4, if you're going to do proportions. So that's a lot to take in. You really got 4 different ways to do this today. All right, example 2. It says you buy an electric organizer that is on sale for 50% off the original price. What is the sales price? So it's kind of your call which way you want to do it. If you're a proportion person, maybe you try doing this, okay? It wants to know what is the sales price. Well, sales price is kind of like the retail price. It's saying after the discount, what's the new price? We're looking for the new amount, okay? Well, here it is. This is going to be my new amount, and that's going to go over the original price. The original price is $25. Okay, I know the 100% is going to go here, but here's the thing: if I'm going to say that X is going to be my new amount, then this has to become my new percent. It's not the 15% over 100. What I have to do is since I know the price is going to go down 50%, I have to do 100 minus 15 to tell me that percent, the new percent, is going to be 85%. Okay? Then we can cross multiply and divide, and you're going to find out that the new price ends up being $21.25. So what this saves us by taking care of the percent right here, all right, doing 100% minus the 15% that's going down and making it 85%, that allows me to get the new amount right away. The new price after the sale is going to be $21.25. If I didn't do that, if I just did this, x over 25 equals the 15% over 100, then this would tell me how much it was going to change by. It would say how much it's going down, okay, which would be $3.75. Then you would have to take that $3.75, then you would have to subtract it from the $25 it really was, and you would still then get that new price of $21.25. So if you're doing proportions, a couple different ways to do that today. Last thing we're going to talk about, example 3. It says the bill for your restaurant meal is $22. You leave a 15% tip, and the sales tax is 6%. What is the total cost of your meal? Okay, well, if you're at a restaurant and you're trying to find the total cost, really what you're doing is saying, all right, I need to know what is my food bill. Then on top of that, I have to add on the tip that I'm going to leave. And on top of that, we're going to add on the tax that we're going to leave. All right? Well, they're telling us here right away the food bill is $22. Okay, so that's good. What I have to still find out is what's the tip and the tax. All right? So it's kind of like doing 2 problems. One problem for the tip, one problem for the tax. Well, tip, okay, it says the percent that you're going to leave is 15%. Okay? Well, if I say the tip is 15% of what the bill is, that makes it 15% of 22. And then if I do that problem, that becomes 0.15 times the 22, which says that you're going to leave a tip of $3.30 would be an appropriate tip. Okay? Then I do the same thing for the tax, but in this case, they tell me the tax is 6%. So the tax is 6% of the $22 of the original bill. 6% becomes 0.06. We multiply that times the 22, which gives us tax of $1.32. Well, to find the total cost of your bill then, the final problem is to add all of that together to find out that you are going to spend a total of $26.62 at that restaurant for that meal, plus the tip, plus the tax. Of course, you can use proportions for all of this also if you want to do tip. Just real quick, if you were doing a proportion this way, okay, $22 is the original price. The 15%, okay, would go over 100, and you'd be able to find that out. For the tax, okay, it'd be x over 22, but my percent now for tax is 6%. All right, don't need the percent on there. 6 over 100, and you'll be able to find the tip and tax that way too. So you still have your two methods. Whether you want to use equations and decimals or you want to use proportions is kind of up to you. That's our lesson for today.